With just 2 months until the 2019 NFL Draft, the top prospects are being thoroughly evaluated. One of those prospects is Michigan's Rashan Gary, who could be a top 10 draft pick. Gary elected to forego his senior season in Ann Arbor in order to get to the 2019 NHL Draft. The fact that he's projected to be one of the first players taken in this year's draft probably had a lot to do with that. The question is now just how high Gary will get drafted on April 25. Daniel Jeremiah, a draft expert for NFL Network, had a conference call on Monday to discuss some of the best players coming out of college football. Gary was a player whom Jeremiah spent a decent amount of time talking about. Jeremiah sees a lot of upside in Gary, especially based on Gary's unique combination of size and athleticism. The Detroit Free Press has more. Rashan Gary to me is a little bit more athlete than football player at this point in time, Jeremiah said. You'll see the rare combination of size and speed. Very explosive. The production doesn't necessarily match the skill set. That to me, going back through, watching more tape on all these guys, as you go through the process, I still view him as a top 10 player. Jeremiah could even see Gary coming off the board before the third pick in the draft. The one thing that Jeremiah didn't love about Gary's game at Michigan was that his production didn't always match up with what he brought to the table from a physical standpoint. If Gary drops a little bit, that could very well be the reason why. Wouldn't shock me if he was the second pick in the draft because there's tremendous upside with him, Jeremiah said. From a skill set standpoint, I think the ceiling for him is like a Cam Jordan, California, New Orleans Saints. I think he could be one of the better defensive ends in the NFL. I know some people say he should kick inside. I like him better on the edge. That's where he fits for me. A lot of disruption, not a lot of production. That's why he dropped a little bit on my list. To Jeremiah's point, Gary's stats from the 2018 season don't exactly jump off the page at you. In 9 games, Gary had 6.5 tackles for loss and 3.5 sacks. However, it's important to remember that Gary was dealing with an injury this past fall. It's also true that even when Gary's presence alone caused problems for opposing offenses because he drew a lot of attention from every offensive line he went up against, that freed up his teammates to go make plays. In his latest mock draft for CBS Sports, draft expert Ryan Wilson has Gary staying in Michigan. Wilson currently projects the Detroit Lions to grab Gary with the 9th overall pick. If Jeremiah is correct, Gary could end up climbing even higher than that.